He knocked me over. I landed on the dog bowl.
This One's Wife, Harry versus the Sun. Who blinked first? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. The legal case brought by Harry against News Group Newspapers, NGN, has concluded with settlement being reached. It's a dramatic turnaround. After the delay that took place yesterday, it was apparent that significant negotiations were taking place. This was a sharp change from Prince Harry's previous position, that it was all about accountability, as he prepared to have his day in court, and his lawyers were ready to blast a broadside of claims about tabloid intrusion and corporate cover-ups. But now a deal has been done. Now, it might be this is because there was an offer from NGN that became impossible to refuse because of the cost implications. Or is it the case, for instance, that NGN wanted to ensure that nothing was tested in relation to a corporate cover-up because they had something to hide? Accordingly, who is it that might have blinked first in that regard? The apology that was read out by his lawyer in court stated, NGN offers a full and unequivocal apology to the Duke of Sussex for the serious intrusion by the Sun between 1996 and 2011 into his private life, including incidents of unlawful activities carried out by private investigators working for the Sun. NGN also offers a full and unequivocal apology to the Duke of Sussex for the phone hacking, surveillance and misuse of private information by journalists and private investigators instructed by them at News of the World. NGN further apologises to the Duke for the impact on him of the extensive coverage and serious intrusion into his private life, as well as the private life of Diana, Princess of Wales, his late mother, in particular during his younger years. We acknowledge and apologise for the distress caused to the Duke and the damage inflicted on relationships, friendships and family, and have agreed to pay him substantial damages. It is also acknowledged, without any admission of illegality, that NGN's response to the 2006 arrests and subsequent actions were regrettable. NGN also offers a full and unequivocal apology to Lord Watson for the unwarranted intrusion carried out into his private life, and it goes on to talk about the circumstances around Lord Watson. Harry gets his apology, and notice that once again his mother, she can't rest, she gets mentioned again by Harry. And as a consequence of this settlement having been reached and the apology given, naturally, that means that there's no trial that's going to take place. Apparently, BBC News reports that Harry, having said that he wasn't willing to settle and wanted to test the claims in court, that his serious approach by him for settlement in recent days took NGN by surprise. So it would appear, if that reporting is accurate, that it was Harry that was wanting to put this to bed. Naturally, there would be concern within the Murdoch empire about the allegations of a cover-up. The parties explained to the judge in court that the settlement and apology means that a parallel part of the case concerning overarching allegations of general and widespread unlawful behaviour and an alleged cover-up by NGN chiefs will no longer go ahead. That means that Prince Harry has won a significant apology, but the unproven allegations that there was substantial wrongdoing by the CEO, Rebecca Brooks, and others will no longer be tested. Brooks was cleared of criminal wrongdoing in 2014, and NGN has always maintained there was no cover-up as the police investigated the News of the World in 2011. It's the first time that NGN has admitted wrongdoing against Prince Harry, specifically involving unlawful activities by private investigators working for The Sun. The statement doesn't explicitly admit unlawful activity by The Sun journalists, but it would be viewed as a win for him. He'll feel vindicated. But there's also a win for NGN. It spent an incredible sum fighting the claims, but it's avoided the worst-case scenario of a court trial, leading to a judgment that there was a corporation-wide cover-up implicating its leaders all the way to the top. Accordingly, Did NGN blink first and wanted to bring this to a conclusion because they were concerned not about losing and the financial ramifications, after all this is a hugely wealthy corporation, but the wider damage in relation to allegations of a cover-up? Or is it Harry that's blinked first? And as I mentioned in my earlier video, that the cost implications are the ones because he's feeling constrained financially and the prospect of paying out significant sums if he failed to beat the offer was something that focused his mind and brought about settlement. Certainly the BBC think that it's Harry who is the one that came to try and bring about settlement. Naturally, Harry's lawyer, David Sherborne, is enjoying the limelight. He made a statement outside the High Court. Harry was absent, and he explained that it was a monumental victory. He said that it represented vindication for others who were strong-armed into giving up against the news group. Naturally, the lawyers always like to try and paint a favourable view for their client. Apparently, it was a show of resilience by both Prince Harry and Lord Tom Watson. Sherborne says news group newspapers unlawfully engaged more than 100 private investigators on 35,000 occasions over at least 16 years. This happened as much as The Sun, as at the News of the World, with the knowledge of all editors and executives going to the very top of the company. What's even worse is that in the wake of the 2006 arrest of a royal correspondent, there was an extensive conspiracy to cover up what really had been going on and who knew about it. He explained that senior executives at news group newspapers obstructed justice by deleting over 30 million emails and making false denials. He states that they repeatedly lied under oath to cover their tracks in court and at the Leveson inquiry. He explained that far from being relics of a distant past, many of those behind these unlawful practices remain firmly entrenched in senior positions today, both within News UK and other media outlets across the world, wielding editorial power and perpetuating the toxic culture in which they continue to thrive. Sherborne said it was no surprise that all of the senior executives refused to turn up to court to give evidence. He stated their failure to answer questions under oath spoke volumes, but their silence is deafening. He said that Harry's willingness to take NGN to trial has led to historic admissions of guilt. As a direct result of him taking a stand, Prince Harry and his immediate family have also had to repeatedly withstand aggressive and vengeful coverage since starting his claim over 5 years ago. Sherborne called on Parliament and the police to investigate this illegal activity, as well as perjury and cover-ups. It's clear now this has occurred throughout this process, including through sworn evidence in inquiries and court hearings and in testimony to Parliament, until today's final collapse of NGN's defence. He ended his comments by stating, "Today the lies are laid bare, today the cover-ups are exposed, and today proves that no one stands above the law. The time for accountability has arrived." Albeit not as accountable as they would imagine, since they didn't take it to trial, they didn't demonstrate the ultimate courage of their convictions by settling the case. So lots of bluster from David Sherborne, as you'd expect, rounding on NGN and repeating the allegations in relation to their conduct and also in respect of a cover-up. Naturally, this is all done to make it seem like Harry is that crusading warrior. But is it more a case of Harry actually being self-serving because of the financial pressure that he was under that brought this to a conclusion, and he then wants to claim victory in this manner? You can share your thoughts in the comments section. What it will mean is that much of the media is not going to offer them particularly a favourable stance in forthcoming coverage. One sees it regularly in supposedly quality publications such as The Times that repeatedly take the piss out of the Sussexes. They are, of course, a target because of the way that they behave, but there's also, of course, the fact that their actions against the press in the United Kingdom has meant that they're not going to be able to get any favours from them, and it would appear that it would either condemn them to some form of obscurity, or more likely that they will continue to be commented on by the press, and adversely so, but they will do so very carefully to avoid any further legal action brought by Prince Harry, given his history of litigiousness. Might this embolden Harry? As you know, he and this one's wife are big fans of being able to speak their truth while ensuring everybody else is shut up if they are criticised. Whilst this case links to something different to the freedom of expression, etc., the fact is that having seen it as a win and having received an apology, might this embolden this one's wife and Harry to continue to shut people down, to continue to stop people speaking out against them, that they see themselves as very much on the side of right. Certainly the skewed perspective of this one's wife through her narcissism would cause that to be the case. Irrespective of whether it's financial pressure that really brought this to a conclusion, the spin will be, we beat them, they were in the wrong, it's a monumental victory, it's vindication, we were right. And that will maintain the mindset of this one's wife. And similarly, Harry, with his paranoid and similarly tunnel vision view of the way that the media has behaved. What do you think are the likely outcomes of this? Who do you think blinked first? Do you think it was NGN because they didn't want evidence of a potential cover-up to come out? Or do you think it is, as the BBC, that it was Harry that really wanted this to be concluded and that in essence he bottled it? And he bottled it because of financial pressures whilst seeking to claim that it's a victory for him. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.